Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and today I want to talk a little bit about sleep and exercise because exercise and sleep are so intricately connected, and yet when you don't sleep, exercise is like the last thing on your mind. You're exhausted, you don't have any energy for it. But it's a bit of a catch-22 because when we don't sleep, we don't have the energy to exercise. But when we don't exercise, we don't sleep as well. So even if your energy is really low, even if you haven't slept well the night before, incorporating some type of movement in your day is going to be really beneficial for you. And we're going to talk a little bit about what types of movements you might want to incorporate and how they're going to work to support your sleep. So the first thing I want to talk about is why is exercise so important? And exercise is important for a number of reasons, but from a sleep perspective, exercise helps to manage cortisol. So, as a whole, exercise helps to reduce cortisol, like in a day. Cortisol is a hormone associated with periods of stress. So, when we experience stress, our cortisol spikes, and if that spike isn't happening at the right time, that can be detrimental to our sleep. So, regular exercise helps your body recover better from stress, recover more easily from stress, and will help improve your sleep at night. Um, Morning exercise actually spikes your cortisol in the morning, and that will help set your circadian clock. It helps get your rhythm in sync for the day. So, morning exercise can be really helpful for both of those things. It's helpful for the cortisol spike at the right time, but also to help with the stress relief side of things all day. Cortisol is going to spike depending on the intensity of the exercise. So, all exercise is going to increase your cortisol to some extent. Very vigorous, high intensity exercise is going to spike your cortisol to a much higher degree. So, if you're someone who likes to exercise in the afternoon or evening, definitely keeping it low, like a little bit less impact, a lighter exercise is going to be much better for your sleep. So, what kinds of exercise are we talking about? There's two main types of exercise. Type number one is cardiovascular exercise, and that is exercise designed to help increase your heart rate and increase your breathing rate. That's what's really going to make your cardiovascular system, your heart and your lungs work so that they can get stronger. Because the more those systems are challenged, the stronger they are. So cardiovascular exercise is very important. Think on this end, think like walking, running, biking, swimming, cycling. All of those things are going to be things that increase your cardio, your heart rate, and your breathing rate. The other type of exercise is strength or resistance training, and that exercise is really meant to get our muscles stronger. So in strength or resistance training, we tear our muscles apart and then we build them back up even stronger than they were before. Strength training is actually really important from a metabolic perspective because the higher our muscle mass is, the more calories that we burn. So when we think about our food intake and the calories that we need, strength training is a really important part of either weight maintenance or weight loss, depending on your goal. Stereotypically, this is very stereotypical, but stereotypically, women tend to focus more on cardio exercises. So the like the walking, the running kind of thing. And stereotypically, men tend to focus more on the strength training. So that's usually like a weightlifting kind of thing. It is possible to use body weight for strength training. So that would be things like push-ups or squats or lunges. All of that is strength training, but you can add weight to that or not. We really need to make sure that both sides are doing both types of exercise. Cardiovascular is really important for your heart and lung health. Strength training is really important, and it is very important for women for a couple of extra reasons. As we age and as our hormones kind of peter out in like perimenopause, menopause, we actually start to lose, as women, we start to lose muscle mass. And our muscle mass declines at a rate of like, I think 3% per year or something like that. So as you lose muscle mass, you're going to lose you're impacting your metabolism. And so by increasing your strength training and keeping your muscle mass up, that is going to be helpful to kind of keep your metabolism where you'd like it to be. But the other side to this actually is for bone health and osteoporosis. Strength training is essential to preventing osteoporosis and improving, or well, preventing osteoporosis and keeping your bones healthy. So if you're someone who has a family history of osteoporosis, making sure you include strength training is essential. There is a possibility to do both at the same time. So some exercises are strength training, like they're designed to either be, lifting weights using body weight, but they also do increase your heart rate and your breathing rate. So something would be like a Tabata workout often does that, or like a high intensity interval training workout. It's not always a strength training incorporated, but it's very common that that type of workout will kind of work both things. So that is, you want to make sure that you're getting a good blend of exercises throughout the week. So how much exercise do we need? Current recommendations are 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity exercise or 75 minutes a week of vigorous intensity exercise. Most of us are not doing vigorous exercise. That's not how we work. That would be like the, really um, people who are frequenting the gym or training for something, or athletes or anything like that. So what the number that you're kind of want to have in your head is about 150 minutes. And so that can be broken down however you want, but if you kind of look at it, it's about 30 minutes, 5 days a week. So not completely unreasonable, totally doable. Is it possible to exercise too much? Absolutely. And this is where the balance between sleep and exercise gets tricky. Because if you're someone who has a high level of stress already, you've got a high level of cortisol, and you're doing vigorous exercise on top of that, your sleep might actually be impacted by that. You might be spiking your cortisol at the wrong time. So now you've kind of shifted your circadian clock, or your cortisol just might be too high throughout the day to be able to fall asleep, or it might interfere with sleeping through the night. It's absolutely possible. If you're someone who feels that they carry a lot of stress, who feels a little bit anxious, who kind of is very tense and worried, I would probably recommend, until we can kind of get stress levels under control, recommend more light exercise. So like walking. Honestly, walking is the most amazing exercise. It's very cheap, it's easy to do, and it's good for anything. If you're, recovering from an injury, go for a light walk. If you're looking for a good exercise, go for a really brisk walk. It covers a huge gamut of requirements. So anyway, walking is amazing. But you might want to do something a little bit more if you're a highly stressed person, like something more walking or yoga or stretching or that kind of thing. Something else too is for women, as we get into the second half of our menstrual cycle and around our periods, more of the restorative stuff is really good. So again, the walking, yin yoga is amazing for that restorative piece of the puzzle. So those are the recommendations around exercise. I'm going to do a second part to my exercise thing, but um, even if you're exhausted, incorporating some movement in a day is going to be helpful. You don't have to think of it as if, like, I am so tired, how am I going to do my 45-minute HIIT workout? Nope, don't need to do that at all. If you're exhausted, simply start with some yoga or a simple walk or something that's light and energizing to you. Oh yeah, that was something else to mention, is that kind of a good way to determine if you're exercising too much is how you feel after you exercise. So if you exercise and you feel invigorated and excited and awake and alert, that is very possibly a really good level of exercise for you. If you exercise and you feel depleted and tired and drained, it's too vigorous for you. It's not always going to be that crystal clear, but that is a good indicator. But I'm going back to my recommendation that if you're someone who is a little bit more higher stress or has some anxieties, and carries a lot of stress with them, definitely focus on the slower, more restorative exercises for now, till we can get the stress under control. So if you have any questions, shoot me a message. Exercise and stress is a huge part of my focus on sleep and health, creating healthy habits around sleep. If sleep is something that you struggle with and you want to learn more about incorporating exercise with your sleep, send me a note, leave a comment below. I've got lots of resources for this. I can't wait to hear from you. Happy exercising, and I hope you have a great day.